Hey you guys, welcome to day 18 of Hot Topics and Cool Drinks. This event is created exclusively for adults 50 and over, especially those of us who are corporate executives, past or present, entrepreneurs, educators, and family stewards, parts of households that have invested in private education, people who understand that values, not trends, are what guide families. Each evening we gather here to center ourselves in clarity and conversation, and every night includes a featured book that aligns with purpose, legacy, and awareness, a wellness tip for women navigating menopause, a discussion about parenting in today's digital world where online cruelty, misinformation, and influence culture challenge everything that we've built. And yes, every night begins and ends with poetry from my book, She Shines Anyway, because grounding ourselves in intention is how we stay powerful. I'm your host, Antoinette Wolf, a former corporate executive turned entrepreneur, licensed real estate agent, writer, philanthropist, and mother. Tonight's topics, we're going to be talking about we're going to do a deep dive into a featured book called Women Who Run with the Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estés. A Menopause Minute reminder about bone and muscle strength. In Business Corner, a continuation from yesterday's talk about reinvesting, repositioning, or releasing, and how AI can help safeguard brand integrity. And finally, our hot topic of the night, reclaiming the wild in a tamed world, and why teaching our kids to stay grounded in what's real is a non-negotiable. So before we get started, let me introduce my cool drink of the evening. This drink here is a Fever Tree. I think I may have done this very early in the beginning. This is a blood orange ginger beer. Of course, what I love about these drinks, like I've shared before, is that these only have 35 calories, okay? This is very simple, ginger, blood orange. Of course, there's a little bit of sugar in there. And when I say sugar, I mean fructose syrup. So it is a sweet. It is sweet, but it's absolutely delicious, and it's definitely a little treat for Friday night, okay? It's Friday night. This is my drink. Let's go ahead and do a toast to Friday night, okay? So this one tonight, I'm going to give it an 8, okay? Like I said, it is sweet, but it's small enough that it's a great treat, and it's 35 calories, okay? So anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and start with a poem from my book, She Shines Anyway, 76 poems for the woman that refuses to dim her light. You know, I always brag about how it only took me less than an hour to edit this book, because normally for a book this size, that takes about, you know, anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks to actually do typically. And I was able to have it up and running, okay, in about that same time frame instead of so long. And I used AI tools to help me do that. So I do brag about that. Because I mean, can you believe that? Can you believe that? That's where we are today. Okay. So anyway, so this poem here is called My Child is Watching. I try not to raise my voice often, not because I'm soft, but because power doesn't need to scream. I protect my peace, not just for me, but because little eyes are learning how to live by watching me choose. My child is watching how I walk away without a sting, how I say no without guilt, how I don't explain myself to people who lost access to my spirit. I don't tell them how to be strong. I show them what strength looks like, and it looks like boundaries, silence over chaos, peace over performance, and walking alone if respect is missing, because someday they'll stand at a crossroads. And remember, my mother didn't fold, neither will I. Do you guys like that one? So yeah, so that's our first poem of the night. And I think let's go ahead and get into, well, let me have a little sip of my drink. And let's go ahead and get into this book, the featured book of the night. This book is Women Who Run with Wolves, Myths and Stories of the Wild Woman Archetype by Clarissa Pinkola Estés. Now, Dr. Estés is an American poem. She's a Jungarian, a psychoanalyst, and a Condora, a keeper of old stories in the Latin American tradition. She has spent decades studying folklore, myths, and cultural stories that reveal the spiritual and psychological strength of women. Her works blend psychology, storytelling, and cultural anthropology to uncover the wild woman archetype, the instinctual, untamed nature within every woman. Now, this book isn't just literature. It's a guide, a mirror, and a reclamation of power. Through myths, folktale, and stories from different cultures, Estes explores how women have been historically silenced and disconnected from their intuition. She then provides the map for returning to the inner wild woman, the creative, powerful, untamed essence that leads to healing and freedom. Now, some of the key stories and themes is La Loba, the wolf woman, a woman who gathers bones and sinks flesh back into them, symbolizing resurrection, and reclaiming lost parts of the self. Then there's another tale in here about Bluebeard, a tale of dangerous naivety and the importance of women trusting their intuition when facing destructive men. The Red Shoes, a warning about losing one's true self by chasing approval, trends, or superficial desires. Skeleton Woman, a haunting story of love, death, and rebirth, teaching that true intimacy requires facing the cycles of life. And the Handless Maiden, a journey of surviving, wounding, exile, and eventually finding wholeness. Each story offers a mirror, reminding women that even in a world of suppression, judgment, and distraction, the wild woman still waits inside, ready to be reclaimed. This book has been a classic in women's empowerment, encouraging readers to trust intuition, embrace creativity, and refuse to conform to limitations. It's perfect for us as executive parents and grandparents because it calls us to honor legacy without losing identity. Yes. Okay. So I hope you guys check this out. Now, again, this is a book, and I say again because the last few nights I've been going over books that I don't carry in BeWellnessCenter.shop, but this book can absolutely be found on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Books A Million, Target, places like that. Definitely check it out. This is another book that definitely, if you are a woman that not necessarily have lost your way, but a woman that's even on your way and you want just to stay in your momentum, this is a great book to have in your collection. Definitely. I don't carry it, but I'm telling you, this is a great book to have in your collection. Okay. So let's go over Menopause Minute. Tonight's wellness focus, bone and muscle strength. We've definitely talked about these things before, but I want to go over them again because they are so important when navigating through menopause. Bone density naturally decreases due to lower estrogen levels, which increase the risk of osteoporosis. Here are actionable ways to stay strong. Weight-bearing exercises like walking, dancing, light weights keeps bones dense. Vitamin D and calcium intake, whether through leafy foods, fortified foods, or supplementation, are crucial. Proteins at every meal produces muscle and support your bones. Now, I'm going to share with you, like myself, I'm vegan. So I eat nuts. I eat a lot of nuts. I eat a lot of walnuts. I even eat a lot of pumpkin seeds, but those aren't nuts. But walnuts, almonds, cashews. I eat a lot of the fatty nuts, hazelnuts, pistachios. I eat all the nuts, because it is very important to me that I'm getting my protein. It really is. And you can also get protein through things like, if you're vegan or vegetarian, flaxseed meal or flax seeds, chia seeds, all of that. Coconut oil. Now, balance training. So things like yoga, tai chi, reduces falls, risk, and bones, boost flexibility. The benefit, you're not just preserving strength, you're protecting your independence, mobility, and long-term vitality. Okay? So let's go ahead and move over into Business Corner. If it seems like I'm going a little fast tonight, I am. After all, After all, it is in fact Friday night, and hey, I want to get my weekend started, okay? So, tonight's focus is protecting your brand's integrity in the age of AI. Yesterday, we talked about the framework of reinvesting, repositioning, and releasing, and we used examples of how major companies have struggled with reputational missteps in their marketing. Like when we mentioned Pepsi yesterday, those types of situations could have been avoided if AI driven tools have been in place to monitor public sentiment, span campaigns for cultural sensitivity, and predict backlash before millions were spent. Okay, executives and entrepreneurs must ask, are the people representing my brand aligned with my values? We've seen major companies lose billions by pairing with influencers or campaigns that clash with their customer base. So again, the example of Pepsi's controversial campaigns damaged trust. Nike took risks but managed authenticity by aligning with athletes who match their mission. So takeaways from this are, as legacy investors and family builders, it's not enough to make money. We must preserve reputation and values. And that's why, as entrepreneurs with extensive corporate America experience and as corporate executive parents who come from families that have invested in our education, we must use every single tool that's available. Okay, and that does include AI to protect our brands. AI isn't a luxury anymore, it's a safeguard, and it goes beyond marketing. We must use AI not only for creating content, but also for extensively researching clients, potential partners, and even investors to ensure alignment with our company's values. That's just as important as we use these tools to vet employees, because the wrong hire can in fact damage reputation just as much as a failed campaign. There are AI powered applications that can assist with background checks, and so I want to talk about them tonight. And due diligence and risk management. So one would be PLTR Technologies, which we're going to talk about PLTR Technologies a little bit later this month. But anyway, I want to share with you PLTR Technologies, and I'm also going to give the ticker for these guys, because we've also recently been talking about some different tickers or companies to look into investing, to do at least do our research, right? So PLTR, PLTR is the ticker. Okay, what they do is background checks. Well, they do enterprise level data analysis and risk monitoring. Okay, so they're a great company to check out, definitely one to invest in. Then you have RELX, okay, and the ticker is just that, RELX. Now, if you're just now tuning in, I'm gonna just be transparent with you. I write like a doctor. Okay, it's just the bottom line. I always have and probably always will. Thank God for 2025. Thank God for technology, baby. Anyway, so owner of LexisNexis, providing advanced compliance and background research tools. Then we have Equifax, and you guys are familiar with Equifax, and the ticker for that is EFX, expanding beyond credit into AI-driven identity verification. Then we have IBM Watson, AI solutions that analyze risk and detect anomalies in business relationships, and that's IBM. Okay, so investing in these tools, or even investing in these companies themselves, can be a wise strategy. They not only serve our business directly, but they also represent the future of responsible brand and legacy protection. Reflecting on history, it's powerful to ask, what might these companies have done differently if they had the AI tools that we have access today? So when I'm talking about these companies, I'm referring to when we were talking about like Pepsi or Nike and whatnot, okay, or the companies that we mentioned yesterday, right? What might they have done differently if they had access to those tools? And more importantly, how do we teach our children to integrate those tools into their own futures as leaders and brand builders? This is why tonight's lesson isn't just about investing in stocks or companies. It's about investing in tools and awareness that will protect our legacies forever. Okay? I'm going to take a little break and have a sip of my drink. All right, let's go ahead and just move down to the hot topic of the night. So the hot topic of the night is reclaiming the wild in a tamed world. So we live in a society that rewards conformity, where women and even our children are pressured to fit molds. Social media amplifies this. It pushes young people towards shallow validation. But tonight's conversation, inspired by women versus wolves, women who run with the wolves, reminds us that survival, intuition, and authenticity are not luxuries. They are, in fact, necessities. Just as La Loba sings bone back to life, we must sing legacy back into our families. Just as Bluebeard warns, we must teach our children to trust their instincts against predators and manipulators. And just as the Red Shoes cautions, we must remind them that their value is never tied to trends, likes, or external applause. And here's the critical piece here. We must teach our kids that everything is in fact a business, okay? What they see on the screens, whether from influencers, celebrities, or brands, is curated, produced, and often not real or filtered, okay? They must learn to stay grounded in what is real, their education, their values, their relationships, and their integrity. And just as we use AI and other tools to protect our brands, they must learn to protect their own personal brand, reputation, and future. This ties directly into Business Corner in tonight's book. Just as Estés teaches women to trust their instincts, we must teach our children to trust themselves in a digital world of illusions. Okay? This is how we resist a world that wants to tame us. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and get into the closing poem for tonight. I know I went fast tonight, baby. Yes, I did, because I am ready for the weekend, boo. I am ready for the weekend. So yes. Okay, so this poem. Gentle with me, fierce with them. I will not raise them in a storm and expect them to find calm in chaos. So I quiet the noise. I reject the roles that drain me. I protect my energy so I can protect them. I am gentle with myself because they're learning from how I live. And I want them to know that softness is not weakness. It's a strategy in a world that tries to harden hearts. But understand this, my boundaries are non-negotiable. When it comes to their names, their futures, their peace, you don't go and get to interrupt their legacy with empty effort of surface level presence. You don't get to confuse the title of parent with the actions of placeholder. They will not inherit dysfunction as normal. They will not learn love through wounds. They will not mistake silence for strength. So yes, I'm gentle with me, but I'm fierce for them because they deserve a mother who leads with clarity and walks away when it's time. You guys like that? You know where you can find it, right? Amazon.com and my website, BeWellnessCenter.shop. Yes, for sure. Now, so tonight we explored Clarissa Pinkola Estés, Women Who Run with Wolves. Definitely, you guys, you gotta get this book. You gotta have it in your collection if you're a woman. Especially if you're an independent woman, you gotta have this book. Okay. We revisited Bone and Muscle Strength for Menopause Minute because these foundations are worth repeating. We learned in Business Corner why brand integrity is priceless and how AI is a critical safeguard for entrepreneurs and executives, and how AI companies like PLTR, which that ticker was PLTR, RELX, RELX, EFX, and IBM provide the tools that we should invest in, okay? Whether it's investing in them for doing the background checks and investing in as executive parents. That's teaching our kids that you always you put $1 in, you expect $2 back, okay? And through Hot Topic, we shared how reclaiming authenticity in a world of conformity, and why teaching our kids that everything is a business keeps them grounded in reality. You guys, make sure you come back on Monday because I will not be doing anything. I will not be doing anything this weekend. So come back on Monday. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you then. Have a great weekend, you guys. Thanks for joining me tonight. Bye.